Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of Oxygen Not Included in the Ultimate Base 3.0 here on our third planetoid at the moment. Gosman and Turner almost completed the initial living module Hassan is gonna spend the eternity of his existence in, and it's this one right here, and we are about ready to fill everything up. For instance, we need to fill up the bathroom loop, we also need to initialize the oxygen production, and then we need to finalize, I guess, the transit tube point. Though I guess right now I would like to get rid of these guys because they tend to use the transit tube in order to get out, which is not my intention right now. I would like them to use the liquid lock there. Anyways, we hooked up the batteries, we hooked up the power. I also made sure we now extract the gases the correct way. Actually, I need a way to reach this tile, so I'm gonna install a ladder. Also, I'm a little bit concerned about all the chlorine being wasted right now. As a matter of fact, chlorine is the only gas we currently have here. So maybe what we first should do is make sure we have a way to extract that before we lead it into the base. Also, we need a way to actually feed our atmosuit dogs anyways. But I guess I wanna wait with that and first do this. Cut that off so everything is being expelled, and then once we get the pure oxygen going, we should be fine. Done and done. Let's give this some power by connecting these guys. It's currently not going the way I would like it to, so what we have to do is make sure the electrolyzer isn't running, and this is actually going to give us time to pump out all the gases. Wonderful. Looks like we have almost pumped out all the gases, just a tiny amount of chlorine left. That means once that's done, I can reset the sensors again and get this electrolyzer running. I also installed an automatic dispenser near the Spacefarer module, so we can actually empty out all of these bins. This one here and that one there. And I'm just gonna sweep up everything, and that means they're gonna bring it to this dispenser. And I'm gonna be guaranteed these materials stay on the planetoid. I also set up the recipe for the exosuit forge, so that should be taken care of. There's one atmosuit in particular that is already defunctional. And there we go. Looks like we pumped out all the gases. Yes. Now let's connect this again, and the gases should distribute the right way because we have a vacuum. Nice. I just want to make sure we don't actually expel the gases anymore, but they should be going into the base as well as the atmosuits. This in turn also means we want to enable this building again, and I want to have clear vacancy. So we only get into the base if there's an empty dock. I would also like to deliver 2 atmosuits already, so we have them on the planetoid from the ship. And there is the atmosuit being repaired already. We can also empty out this guy. As a matter of fact, we should have something to do that. Otherwise, it's always going to be a problem. We should have an automation for this canister emptier. I used up almost all the space. I wonder if I could set it up here in the mess hall. I know, something went wrong already. Jeez, how did I get this to work all the time? Maybe I did not use enough water. Like 327 grams could just be a smidge not enough. So that it sometimes gets displaced by a lot of gases. I mean, that could be a thing. I don't know. I just want to add more water and test this out. So that unfortunately was a little bit of a bummer. I'm gonna add a pitcher pump here and maybe one there so we can get the various liquids going. And then I will be able to add the 200 kilograms that I used for all the other designs. Actually, I should maybe check. Maybe there was an update and now everything is dysfunctional. Come on. No, that's all good. But here, for instance, we have 60 kilograms of brine and then 10 kilograms of water. Well, not that much either, but I guess it's more than 300 grams. So unfortunately, that did not work the way I would have liked to. But I'm not going to show too much of the fixing here on camera. You already know what I'm going for, something we've built numerous times. Now that all the materials have been taken away, I believe one thing I would like to collect here is ore, metal ore, aluminium. We get an absolute insane amount of it on this planetoid, and I would like to take it with me in order to build with on the main planetoid. Okay, now let's try this again. I got everything cleaned up again, and we have 27 kilograms of water now and much more of the salt water. Just please give me... What's going on? I was so sure that it's gonna work. Okay, I guess we have to pump it out again. Fortunately enough, this time I did not take everything apart, but man, I'm not sure what's suddenly causing all this stress. Geez, if I don't get this to work in due time, I'm not sure what to do. This here has been working flawlessly. I would much rather focus on something else, for instance storing the liquid cargo somewhere. We need to store the water that we actually use for the production here. At the moment we are using the water at the bottom. But eventually I think this pipe should already run into a liquid reservoir that we could temporarily set up here. I don't really care. We're gonna do 2, 3. Is that enough? How much do we even have? Oh, we have 18 tons, so I'm gonna need 4. Let's build them down here. That should be enough space. Liquid reservoir. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're gonna go ahead and fill these guys up. And then we extract them like so. But yeah, with that out of the way, just give me a little bit of time to fix this and I'm gonna be right back. Okay guys, it is now literally 2 days later from the initial recording and I spent hours trying to fix that. At some point I was even like, screw it, I'm gonna take this world into the sandbox mode and test everything out. And I tested everything out, it just doesn't work. And I even got some reports from you that you had the same issue on the third planetoid. Now, the very only thing that I haven't tried yet is to move the entire contraption somewhere else. Let's assume just this tile is bugged. I don't even know, what have I said? Let's say I haven't talked about this glitch yet. Basically, the water in this tile is being pushed away so that the gases can exchange at this point. And this only ever happened in this contraption. Now, I spent so much time on this that I actually ran out of initial oxygen on my module here, which is a problem because now this turned from a colonizing mission into a rescue mission, kind of. If we have a look at the rocket, fortunately enough, we did have some broken atmo suits, but you can see we used up absolutely everything. The only thing we still have here is a bottle that is probably gonna enough to at least make our way back to the main planetoid, refill this rocket, and then maybe try something else with this design. We could build it on the left side and just see if it is the positioning that is kind of screwing with it. Or maybe it's the chlorine off-gassing. I have no idea how this glitch even occurs when all these oxygen contraptions have been working fabulously for 1,000 cycles or so. Anyways, that means we now have no more time to do anything on this planetoid. We have to ensure that Gossman and Turner actually survive. So we make our way back to the main planetoid. I wanted to pay another module here a visit. We could have moved over here, maybe collected an artifact or so, but now we have to go directly back to the main planetoid in the hopes that we don't die. Wait a second. My pilots should be going to the rocket. Yeah, there we go. And fly away. Go quickly, please. Thank you. Okay, and now inside the interior, I want to make sure, even though this is certainly going to result in some popped eardrums, but essentially there's 226 kilograms of oxygen laying around. If we go ahead and empty this out, they will have some popped eardrums, but we will at least be able to breathe again until we arrive back home. Yeah, okay, this is actually looking quite acceptable. Are you trapped here? Popped eardrums, can you come? Yeah, I feel a bit better about this. So I have to say, that is really unfortunate because without the oxygen contraption, we will not be able to accomplish everything I set myself to in this episode. It is like an integral part of being able to even live here. And oh no, I might also want to disconnect some other stuff here. As a matter of fact, we have very little oxygen in here and I don't want to keep things running without it actually working. So I'm just gonna disconnect this, I think, and then everything should be disconnected, right? When we come back and try something else, we can just connect it again. But I guess, wow, that really sucks. I was really looking forward to actually sending Hassan over today and then already get going with a bunch of contraptions or at least plan things out. But that doesn't seem to be the case now. I either fix this problem or focus on something else. But I already delayed this episode for 2 days. It was supposed to actually be published on Tuesday. And I just spent so much time in the hopes of fixing this, but I completely failed. So I'm not 100% sure. Maybe we actually focus on setting up a rocket to periodically collect a bunch of ores. Like right here, we have 10% copper ore. We could also collect an artifact. And right here, there's only an artifact. So the only thing we can realistically do with, for instance, CO2 would be the sandy ore field. And then for these guys here, we already have to use steam rockets or better. And I'm not 100% convinced the sandy ore field will serve us well.
It's just a little bit of copper, algae and sand. So now as soon as we land back home, I'm gonna make sure I refuel the rocket and everything so we can send Turner and Gossman back to the planetoid in the hopes that this is something we can overcome. You are of course absolutely free to tell me what I've actually done wrong in this contraption, because I just can't figure it out. Everything seems to be fine, exactly copied by the other designs, but it's not working. And it also doesn't have to do with the liquids. I really did everything in the test scenario and nothing worked. The good news on the other side, the metal refinery stuff is working absolutely phenomenally, except we don't really store a lot of juice in those batteries. That is a bad thing. Also, you suggested me to integrate the Volcano in the production of heat here, and I think this is exactly what we're gonna do. Maybe not now, but eventually. For now, I think I'm just gonna place a bunch more batteries here, at least as many as we can with our current materials, and then we should be automatically crafting more steel. Yeah, looking good. Wait, low priorities. We might have to increase the priorities of some of our operators. Is my rocket already back? Yes, indeed. Let's check out the interior. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this is now filling up again. So we can basically just leave this hanging around here and we will be delivering some more oxygen. And the water is also already filled up again. Okay, so overall, I believe we had around 7 or 8 cycles with this cargo module. That would have been absolutely enough time if the oxygen contraption actually worked. I'm so disappointed this happened.
Alrighty, since my plans for world domination on the third planetoid are kind of postponed, I figured we could experiment around with the volcano we have at the bottom of the battery room. Right now, as you suspected, this does not provide enough heat to actually keep the steam turbines going, especially once we are done with all the crafting, which is going to be the case a lot of times. Conducting a couple of experiments with this volcano is gonna give us better insight as to what to do with the other one we have laying around here. There are several plans we could go for, and I just want to kind of get the feeling what is possible. The first experiment I already know is probably gonna go wrong. This is why I'm making a save game, and I'm not ashamed to actually reload this scenario a couple of times because I just want to mess with the best possibilities we currently have. One possibility, and we most likely will regret it, is to just take everything apart and actually make an opening here. So let's first see what happens when we do that. I suspect it's going to be so much heat here at the bottom that we're not capable of transferring it up in time to actually get it out with the steam turbines before everything here at the bottom overheats. Let's maybe go ahead, exchange these tiles with mesh tiles as well. And as a matter of fact, I already know this is going to go horribly wrong, but I feel like this could be a fun thing to see unfold. I'm only gonna open up one insulated tile here and see what happens. And there we go. This is now getting a lot hotter, of course. Actually, let's see. Totally forgot how bad this view was. It is 165. It's not even that hot. Jeez, are you kidding me? The magma is definitely 1500 degrees hot, but the steam nearby is just 170, maybe sometimes 200. Look at that! The water is even touching some of the magma here. Wow, is it because we have so much steam in here? As a matter of fact, if this actually works, then maybe we don't even have to overthink this. Let's bring in some more water. Wow, this is insane. And then the volcano will erupt again in 6.8 cycles. Look at that, I know absolutely nothing about this game. I was so sure that this is gonna destroy this room, but there we go. That's why we do experiments and not just assume. You know what, in this case, I'm actually going to deconstruct these tiles here as well, and then we can set up some automation, but everything made out of steel should be okay. I'm just gonna keep adding a little bit of water. I would like to see about 100 kilograms of density here with the steam. And I guess we just wait for the next eruption cycle and actually see how it does. But I think we actually dealt with way more magma than we would otherwise if it just erupted. Yeah, and now because I have all this hot igneous rock here at the bottom, the water is evaporating immediately. So all we would have to add is a system to automatically pick up the igneous rock and maybe cool it down a little bit more. Like we didn't even set up any rails so far. Under those circumstances, I'm gonna assume that the volcano, once it erupts, only drops the igneous rock right at this point. So I wouldn't have to place the auto sweeper too far away. I gotta make sure that I reach all the tiles here with the volcano. So that's gonna go right there. And then assuming we are quicker in converting the magma to solid material, we don't even need a robo miner, but we will have to make sure that is actually the case. Next thing I would like to see is a conveyor loader, also made out of steel. And I'm gonna have that guy right here. I'm gonna be extending the entrance here just a tiny bit. And then of course we use a little bit of iron to power everything up. This should never come into contact with the magma, so we don't need to build it out of steel. But of course everything that has an overheat temperature we need to build out of steel. The wires can only melt, they don't have an overheat temperature. The reason I don't want my duplicants to pick this up yet is because it doesn't convert very well here on the floor as an item. You let me know if I put this on a rail and let it go through the entirety of the room, then it will cool down much more efficiently other than just laying on the floor. So that is exactly what we're gonna do. I brought all this aluminium back home, so let's make it out of aluminium. I want to make sure that I don't cover the first layer just in case we still have some magma going on there, but otherwise we can now lead this through the entirety of the room and use that to cool it down. Once we went through the entirety of the room, I kind of would like to check the temperature. Maybe it needs to have a second round, I'm not sure. It looks like a really long rail and it should suffice in my opinion. You know, maybe we should just test it out. I'm gonna lead the rail over, all the way over to the base. And I think we might want to do this with a bridge. So that goes right here. This way the items coming from here will not have priority over stuff from the main rail system. Good. Now my duplicants just have to build all of this shebang and then we'll see where we're going with this. By the way, I had a little bit of an issue here at the base. My cooling system went nuts and that was my bad because I set it way too high. Right now I have set it to 40 degrees because I need to heat up my base again. Everything is way too cold right now. And I was thinking it actually really messes with what we have going on here because all the plants are not in body temperature anymore. This is especially an issue when it comes to my drainage for the polluted water right here. The thimble reed needs to remain intact, otherwise all the toilets are gonna clog up. It is an absolute nightmare, let me tell you. Okay, sweet. Will you look at that? Everything has been built. Now I just want to see what's actually happening. There's still 2 cycles left to go until the volcano erupts again. Until then, I would like to see the floor cleared up. So first things first, I would say we're just gonna pick up everything here and see what happens. It is picking up some stuff, some rocks at 494 degrees. And now I want to see just how quickly this cools down or potentially heats up the environment. Right here we are already at 43 degrees. So it definitely goes much quicker than being at the bottom. However, I'm not sure I have enough rails. If I don't, we can still take a detour and make sure we kind of check the temperatures. But for now, I'm just gonna let this go through, and I also wanna check the temperatures here. They are not dramatically going up, that's good. We are now at 300 degrees. Oh, actually, this might just turn out well. I need to observe what happens with the rocks that are still 1000 degrees or so. Okay, at this point we are at 290 degrees. That's not too shabby. As long as we get it to 200 degrees, I'm happy. Looking good. 260. How are we doing here? Still 500. I'm not even sure. What are we picking up here? Most of the igneous rock we just picked up is closer to 1000 degrees. I'm not sure. Maybe we are capable of losing a lot of heat just by the process of picking this up. Good. This is now 226 degrees. How are we doing here? Still 160. Yeah, I guess for our first batch here, this is cool enough to actually send to the main storage. You know, looking at this, maybe we should have sent it through the room upstairs first. Yeah, I think that is actually something we can do. We are just gonna move around here once, and then we go back down. Okay, nice. That's actually all I needed. Now we can connect these and these. And now we have 2 stages of cooling down, the second of which we can still expand if we wanted to, but now we get it below 100 degrees, possibly, well, 120 degrees. Maybe we're gonna make use of some more space here. And we could do the same thing here on the other side. Gain a bunch more spaces. This is definitely gonna get us below 100 degrees. By now I have reached almost 100 kilograms of steam in the room. I'm gonna leave it at that and watch the next eruption. See how that goes. There we go. First expansion is done. So you first go down and over. I think with the additional heat we are providing to this room, I want to make extra sure we don't overheat anything. So every pipe here on this floor is going to be a radiant pipe. And this way we can hopefully maximize the amount of cooling we have going on. Because right now, yeah, okay, maybe that wasn't the best idea I ever had. It is a lot of heat I'm injecting after all. Let's forget about the detour, take the heat off the first batch, and then maybe later on I'm gonna find a different solution to actually... Wait, we could combine this... No, this is so far away. Oh, okay, it started again. This might be a little bit too close. Wow, okay, this is emitting 295 kilograms per second? Okay, this could definitely become a problem. How long is this gonna emit for? Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Okay, stop. It stopped. Okay, this might even work out, honestly. We have this obsidian ladder in place. It doesn't go above the second tile here, and I'm assuming every eruption is going to be the same. So what we should be seeing is nothing overheating here, and then we'll already be golden. Maybe we do need another auto sweeper after all. So there would be a second auto sweeper here to cover the rest, because apparently this thing can go crazy. And now we are actually at 210 degrees, all the steam turbines working at maximum efficiency. And there we go, we have our first overheating issue. I assume we might be able to actually take our cooling loop. Though this would be counterproductive. All we need is to make sure we can bring the heat a little bit quicker up. We could do this with temp shift plates. Also the conveyor loader, yeah, these things are just a tad too close. I wonder, there's nothing I can do conveniently. But yeah, honestly, I think we might be able to come up with something satisfactory. Maybe I first funnel the stuff. No, that's actually going to be in the way. What if we went ahead and actually dropped the liquid from the steam turbines right here, right below there. And now we have 15.6 cycles to take care of the issue. Yeah, I wonder, I need to cool these down. Like we could at least shift the conveyor loader, this way we have a tiny bit more space here. But now I wonder, we brought home some diamonds, if I'm not mistaken. Where are they? Right here. This is supposedly the best material to actually make temp shift plates out of. My goal is going to be to take away the heat as quickly as possible from these tiles and shift them over into the room. Temp shift plates are gonna take the heat from the surrounding tiles or the chill, and they are gonna distribute it amongst all the directions. So we have to be careful, because if we place one here, it's gonna heat up this tile as well, because it's injecting the heat. However, if I have it right here, then we're gonna extract the magma heat and also don't get the effect we want. So my suggestion would be to take the heat from around here and then hopefully also extract the heat from the auto sweeper and then another temp shift plate to move it diagonally up. This is still gonna cause these tiles to heat up, which is not actually a problem. Okay, looks like the magma this way is always gonna solidify into normal tiles, which is great, but the heat problem we did not get rid of. It's not too bad. I mean, it's not destroying the entirety of the room, but the room is definitely getting hotter than 200 degrees. So now if we check this out with the temp shift plates, we have 316 degrees here, and at the other side of the temp shift plates we are already at 300 degrees. Yeah, it's just so close, I don't get it. What if we just make a little detour here with the oil and only cool things down if we reach a certain temperature? That might be an easy solution. So instead of moving over here, we go down into a liquid shutoff. This needs to be made out of steel. It goes right there. And then all we need is a little temperature sensor. I'm gonna place the temperature sensor here, and then we need to connect it. Actually, I probably need to build this out of steel just to make sure it doesn't melt when it comes into contact with magma. I'm also gonna do the wires with steel. And actually, this might not be necessary. I'm just gonna do this wire with steel, and then the rest can be iron. And we're gonna go straight up to the liquid lock. After the liquid lock, we're gonna continue, set up a bunch of radiant pipes. One for my auto sweeper, one for the conveyor loader, and another one for the second auto sweeper. And then we connect this like so, and it can go back into the loop.
If the Atmo sensor detects a temperature above, let's say 280 degrees or so, what is the overheat temperature? I totally forgot. 275 maybe? Yeah, let's bring this down to 250 degrees. As soon as we detect that, we want to open up the shutoff and actively cool this down for a duration of time. And maybe to stop everything from overheating, just right now I'm gonna add a bunch more water. Looking good. So this is gonna help just a little bit, and it's not gonna add dramatically to what I have to do with the cooling loop normally. So now we are actually below the overheat temperatures. Nice. And of course we only add that in order to function with the volcano. Overall we should be getting way more power through this. Of course right now I'm going through a domino effect of biting you in the butt. But you know, honestly, seeing what the batteries are capable of, I'm not so convinced the added heat is really worth it. I think I'm rather gonna save the materials and then exchange all of these with the smart battery version. Wow, you just play a little bit with a volcano and just everything gets messed up. We also definitely need to do something about this. Oh man, okay, this did not really go the way I wanted it to, but I think I'm still gonna keep the save at this point. I'm not gonna try something else because I believe it's gonna work. I think to prevent as many accidents as possible, I want to cover up some of this. And then of course everyone in the entertainment room is scolding. Yeah, I have to wait with that a little bit. I need a second cooling phase so I don't bring in the materials at 200 degrees. But geez, playing around with volcanoes is much more fun than I first anticipated. Okay, we are about to witness the next cycle here of the volcano. Everything has had the opportunity to somewhat cool down. We are still stressed in terms of oil. I'm probably gonna exchange the coolant here with polluted water because it is just so much more efficient than oil. And I will probably do this outside of the room and maybe even add another aqua tuner, but those are all fixes that we can apply in the next episode. What I've done for the time being is I enabled the loop to go into a second cooling phase here. So in the next episode we're probably gonna expand the cooling loop here as well, check the temperatures and then only send it to the storage once we're safe. We can then do an automatic exchange of the water. If it reaches a certain temperature, we can lead in new water from the main storage and lower the temperature again. However, right now I just want to see if we can survive the second phase and if I can prevent these machines from overheating. And we will figure that out in just a second. There it goes. Oh, that has been picked up rather quickly. No. Oh no, I have too much water in here. It needs to evaporate a little bit. Okay, this is actually something I did not anticipate. From the looks of it, I just had too much liquid here. We'll have to make sure not too much water accumulates at the bottom. So that was really unfortunate. I guess we will see the next time it evaporates, but this is going to give me some more time to establish the whole cooling loop in a more perfected variant. Anyways guys, I would say with that out of the way, we can wrap it up for today, and the next time we shall continue right away and finish the design before we tend to the next project. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Have a great time and see you in the next one. Bye bye.